Oh no.
Oh,
I has a coronavirus.
that's I really love that character that we've created.
Speaking of Mexican people, so today
No,
I actually forgot to tell you this even off the pod.
yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
So there was a guy. I was walking PETA this morning, and there's a guy going through our trash, like for the recyclables and stuff. And I'm just like, oh god, can you guys just take a break from doing this for a while? Because, like your germs, and I have to handle these trash cans, and I don't know, But he was this like little tiny Latino guy who was like super smiley when he saw me and like, hey, and he was wearing a giant "Make America Great Again" hat.
No fucking way. Who are these people? They exist out in the world, and I'm just unsure of where they come from.
I think that was one of the first of those hats I've seen in the wild in California, I have to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think I've ever seen any myself.
Because it's just like, why do you want to start conflict for no reason?
No,
Why do you even want to start a discussion with somebody who's so stupid that would like make a big deal about you supporting somebody they don't like? It's just
there's no. It's the same with all political affiliations. It's like I don't want to talk about unless it's Tulsi Gabbard, but it's like I don't want to talk about this.
Even talking
I
about
don't want to evoke any responses.
Even talking about her was exhausting because it was I think
people were conditioned to dislike her,
right? And then they're not going to want to hear the logic of like, well, you only have this opinion because you've been successfully manipulated by the media, and
they won't hear that.
No.
They're gonna be like, oh, what are you, like QAnon or whatever the fuck?
Hello, Greg.
Hello, Greg. Should we talk about how we're gonna do it this time around?
So I wanted to play a clip of myself.
We've done this before. This is not new. We've played clips of ourselves before.
So this is going to be kind of me talking about the reason why we need to have some rules when we do the Zoom chat. So here we go.
It's some rules. I've
seen some pretty amazing people, like people that are still kind of doing podcasts that are kind of celebrity ilk, have been using the Zoom thing to kind of, have everybody in at the same time. And
sure.
I've noticed one of the biggest issues is that if somebody talks over somebody else, it just mutes out everything altogether. And that's been a bit of the problem. So that is the problem. So the problem is that the way that, and it seems like this is kind of true of really any Wi-Fi enabled or internet enabled communication system, is that the only way that you can hear someone's audio is if the person stops talking. And so if you're somebody like myself who's a motor mouth and kind of steamrolls, it will just cancel out the person until you physically stop talking. And so they may say a whole phrase, and if you're talking while they're doing it, it'll just completely go unnoticed.
Absolutely.
So the way we're going to do it this time, I think, is I'm going to grab the invite link and I'll put it in the chat of the YouTube video, and then everyone who joins the Zoom chat will be put into a waiting room, which is to avoid the problem of weirdos coming in like we had last time.
Yeah,
and
cool
then
guys.
We're only going to let like maybe 2 people in maximum at a time, and so like basically if you want to join it, if you want to hang out, stay here. If you want to talk to us, come in there. So like that's the way that I'm going to do it. So I'll put that link up in just a moment.
And if you're watching the stream and you're in the waiting room, just pay close attention, because if we bring you into the stream on Zoom, it'll be like 30 seconds before the stream catches up to that.
Right.
So just be sure to like mute the stream if you get entered into the Zoom chat, and also just pay attention, because if we enter you and you're still watching the stream, there's like a 30-second delay where we might just be staring at your face.
Yeah, and
we'll keep up with it.
That, and then also to make sure, if you make sure to mute it, because nobody else will hear it in the except for us in our headphones. And then when you hear yourself delayed, it makes it so difficult to
awful.
talk. It's the worst.
Yeah.
So that's that. There's a few things we wanted to cover though in the front of this. The first one is Boris Johnson. So it was interesting. So he let me grab that clip actually, because
so Snorris Johnson is in the intensive care unit. He's fallen ill with coronavirus.
Well,
that was like a week or two ago, right?
No. Well,
he's had it for a week, right?
I don't even think it's been that long.
Really?
So that's what I think is peculiar about it. So he put out. Let me find the video.
Time moves so it creeps when we're in social.
So this is the video he put out. This is the video he put out April 3rd. So let me grab this for you guys.
Yeah.
Yes, here we go.
Hi folks, quick update from me on the campaign against coronavirus. First of all, in my own case, although I'm feeling better and I've done my 7 days of isolation, alas, I still have one of the symptoms, a minor symptom of I still have a temperature, and so in accordance with government advice, I must continue my self-isolation until that symptom itself goes. But we're working clearly the whole time on our program to defeat the virus. You'll have seen the big announcement yesterday about 100,000 tests per day by the end of the month. And I just want to say one crucial thing, one quick thing to everybody thinking about this weekend and what may be some fine weather, because I reckon a lot of people will be starting to think that this is all going on for quite a long time, and they'd rather be getting out there, and particularly if you've got kids in the household, everybody may be getting a bit stir crazy, and there may be just a temptation to get out there, hang out, and start to break the regulations. And I just urge you not to do that. Please stick with the guidance now.
All right, you get it.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, what's crazy about this is that was, what's today, the 6th? So that was
The 6th,
3 days ago. And so you have to think of it, the reason why I think this is really serious is, like, for him, and also the people who are trying to, saying they hope he dies, just stop it.
Yeah.
But the other part of it that is scary is that he's the prime minister. So he would have had all doctors coming to his house. So the fact that he's had to now be admitted to an intensive care unit means this is really fucking serious. And what I find bizarre is he looks kind of like a cold there, but he's able to get through that whole statement, which is a minute and 46 without coughing.
Right.
So this is not good.
Yeah. Is it just me, or is he kind of hot?
Dude, I don't think so, but he's considered a sex symbol in England.
Really?
Yes.
I think he's got his genetic superiority. He's born a model. That very strong nose he has.
So are you being facetious, or do you actually find him attractive?
I can see how somebody. I don't find him attractive,
Oh,
but
I
I
see
can
you
see
were
how
joking.
somebody might. I was joking. Yeah, I can see how somebody might.
People
Truth
do.
in the joke, because he's not an unattractive Brit.
Well, yeah, that's not saying much, but I think that look, guys, get your shit together. It's your teeth mostly, but
Of course, yeah. If he just closes his mouth,
well, he doesn't have bad teeth, and he was born in New York, which I was doing his Wikipedia scan today, but his haircut, it's so deliberate to just look like shit. Like this, he doesn't have the haircut like this. He doesn't have this haircut. This isn't because he's sick. This is how it always looks.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, dude, if he fucking croaks, if he's the first world leader to go, it's gonna be
That'll be big.
Especially because if it were like Iran, where we have all these sanctions or whatever, no one would really pay attention.
And also, nobody knows the name of a singular Iranian political leader right now in America, so we wouldn't pay any attention.
Boy, Khomeini.
The Ayatollah. I know they're always an Ayatollah.
Just that's all that really matters. The Ayatollah, and when
Ruhollah Khomeini. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini.
Thank you. I had Khomeini right, so I had that right.
Yes, you did. We
because
put
I was
it
trying to
together.
resist saying Soleimani, which
Ayatollah Ruhollah Soleimani.
yes, exactly.
Yes.
But yeah, it's gonna be because again, what I think I made a prediction on one of the earlier ones of the second a relatively healthy celebrity type figure dies, people are gonna freak the fuck out, and it's gonna be really interesting.
I think you're right about it being a young celebrity, though. I think it'll be a big fucking deal if he dies.
I think a world leader, especially England's,
all of the world leaders have gotten it. Well, so many of them.
Neo Noni says if he dies, the conspiracy theory nuts will go on a tear. What in what way do you think? Oh, because he's the right wing person, and they're gonna think that he was assassinated or something.
Wow, that's interesting.
Perry said he liked my Slowpoke pin. So I have 2 pins on this hat. I haven't worn this hat on the podcast. I have Slowpoke on this side
that I got at the
Sean
Nintendo store,
and then I have Nicolas Cage from Con Air on this side.
Oh yeah. Somebody who we're going to have on the podcast hopefully in a few minutes was actually with me when I bought that pin.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So one other bit of news is I was talking to you about how in the wake of all this, how podcasts and shows and media are just they seem so useless. I mean, it's interesting because I think I was talking to Neon Oni about this, and you and some other friends of mine, of like what's made even the kind of alternative content I was consuming originally on YouTube. They all have lost the plot because they're completely financially insulated from this.
Right.
Like anyone even from like Tim Dillon to because they live in this kind of perfect bubble where even if their sponsorship dries up, they'll still have something. And so it's this kind of weird thing where it's like, and then you and I were in the sector of people who lost their jobs immediately.
Yeah, literally the next day.
And so I think that like we are kind of the only people that can talk about this, like people like us rather, not just us specifically, but people who are in our position are the only kind of people that I really want to listen to right now, because they're the only ones who are like no lefty journalist is talking about when the money's going to come in, like what you're supposed to do, how long it may take. The Rising has been pretty good about that, talking about it, but that's really about it.
Yeah.
But so speaking, my point of
we were talking about like entertainment and podcasts and alternative media,
so how little do we care about the election right now?
Like we care 0%.
Right.
There's nothing in my brain is occupied. There's no space in my brain occupied by.
Who cares about Joe Biden?
No one gives a fuck.
Or like this, look, this woman this Me Too woman. I mean, it's just kind of like, like I'm pretty sure on this podcast I talked about Kavanaugh and how I felt about it, right?
Probably. It happened while we were doing this.
Yeah, so I mean, basically my take on that was like, how can anyone, I mean, maybe he did it, maybe he didn't, but like, what are we doing? Like, this is so clearly being used as a political sort of thing. And then, but what's been funny, so now with this Tara Reid woman, which I also find it hilarious, this woman's name is Tara Reid.
Is it Tara Reid?
Tara Reid.
Or was it?
It's Tara Reid or Tara.
Tiana?
No, it's Tara Reid.
Really?
Like the actress, Tara Reid.
What the fuck?
Yeah. It's spelled different, but it's the same name. So
Tara Reid, Joe Biden.
So yeah, I just can't really be bothered to care about it, just because it's one of those things of it's these things should be handled privately. Like I don't know, or like because she's claiming that he like finger banged her, and it's like, dude, if he really did that, then you should have just gone to the authorities immediately. Like, I mean, it's just that's an extreme violation. Extreme sexual assault. I mean, like, and so, but whatever. But my attitude about it, the funniest thing that's come out of this is that Alyssa Milano, the woman who literally sat at the Kavanaugh hearings and had to like wear her smart girl glasses and look around the Kavanaugh thing and really look serious.
Why was she there?
Because I don't know. What I mean,
because she held a sign once.
Because she's
picket sign.
Because she's just an attention-starved celebrity retard that became irrelevant, but then chose sexual assault as her.
Wait, did she start the Me Too? She didn't start the Me Too. She did something.
Me Too's been around forever. But when it got kind of co-opted by a bunch of vapid celebrities, because like I was saying to you before we started, where is all the rape and sexual assault? It's in fucking Hollywood and entertainment. Yeah. So basically them all getting behind it was just a PR move to kind of litigate or rather mitigate the damage done to their own asses that was inevitably going to come. But
Alyssa Milano, she is now defending Joe Biden.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, how the turntables. She before was like disdainfully looking at Kavanaugh, but now she's like, well, I mean, here's why I support Joe Biden, regardless of this accusation. She posted like a whole video about it. It's so dumb. Like, and we're not mad. We were talking about this before the podcast. We're not mad at her for, like, I don't know. Like, if she doesn't believe the woman, that's not why we're mad. Like, the woman may be right. She may be wrong. It may be a true story. May be wrong. Who knows? But
the fact that the thing with these things is nobody knows.
So
why are things like this held to the court of public opinion? It's so weird and gross.
So her stupid public opinion is just hypocritical to her past knowledge. She's got this insane cognitive dissonance that like it really is so foreign to me.
Well, the tweet that I put out about it was, wait, people actually thought Alyssa Milano had principles that weren't rooted in political partisan hackery. It's like, because we all knew she was a political operative at that time. It's the only reason why she was doing it. Like, I didn't want Kavanaugh in there. I mean, I just mostly because I didn't want the courts to be packed so far on the right.
And you're willing to admit that. It's like, because so many of these people were motivated by that, but they are so lost in the weeds of an argument that it's how many, like 20 years old. And so they were using that as their shield to be like, their shield to try and keep somebody who's conservative out of the Supreme Court. And like, look, I don't want somebody who's conservative in the Supreme Court, but I'm not going to go so far out of my way and put up a fake, put on a fake mask to make it seem like I'm an ally to women.
Fake moral outrage.
Yeah.
In order to.
I am an ally to women, but like I'm not going to fake my moral outrage to keep a conservative out of the Supreme Court.
And then kind of like what that narrative turned into, which is the believe all women. It's like, no, I will not. Like, I don't believe all men. I don't believe anybody. I don't trust anybody. So, and it's like, do I think that women would like weaponize sexual assault to hurt a man that they feel like has maybe done them wrong, but not actually done that? Of course they would. It's like people, if they're pissed enough, will literally murder you, like poison you. So it's like you're telling me that they wouldn't abuse laws. Of course, people do this shit all the time. And so it's like, based on the information I had about Ford and Kavanaugh, I'm like, I don't know anything. Like, I literally know nothing. So in that whatever, we don't have to go back over that case.
Yeah,
but it's
thank you guys for tuning into the Black Pill podcast.
Yeah,
This is I'm Sean and this is Jordan.
So I mean, sorry, I have to bring this back around a loop now. And so they're gonna still hold primaries in Minnesota.
Yeah, because we were talking about how we don't give a fuck.
I'm sorry, in
the
Wisconsin.
election
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is still holding their fucking primary, and here's a good
Michael
tweet.
Tracy tweet finally, because he's been insanely annoying lately.
He says Governor Tony Evers opposed postponing the Wisconsin primary for weeks, including as a litigant in federal court, and now suddenly issues a last-minute postponement order as a face-saving measure. Will likely be overturned by state Supreme Court. He had weeks to plan and botched it. Follow-up tweet. As expected, in order for Wisconsin to responsibly hold the primary tomorrow, Evers and the legislature should have started enacting a plan weeks ago to eliminate most, if not all, in-person voting and expand mail voting. Ohio is doing a version of this. And he was quoting a tweet by the Associated Press that says, the Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled that Governor Tony Evers cannot postpone the state's presidential primary. And some more stuff, but it doesn't matter. He had his chance weeks ago to postpone the primary election, didn't do anything, and now he's like, oh fuck, maybe I should postpone it the day before.
It would have been wise.
And of course the Wisconsin Supreme Court says, sorry, too late.
Right.
We have to go through with it because we have no other option now.
Right.
So fucking cool.
So we have Jacob always gives us our daily coronavirus numbers. So it's 1,346,566 total cases. So we're going to reach 2 million by the end of the week. 993,174 active cases, 278,000 recovered, 47,000 serious, and 74,000 dead.
We've gone up 250,000 cases in 3 days. I think I remember because our last stream was 3 days ago.
Yeah.
250,000 fucking cases in 3 days. That's a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so we can start doing this.
Yeah, sounds great.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post into Wisconsin as a city and Minnesota. Get it right. I know. Sometimes I am embarrassingly stupid.
So folks, we are posting the link to the Zoom board. You might have to copy it if you're not on mobile or something like that, but you can either click it or copy it and post it, and you'll be able to join the wait room. Like we said at the beginning, we're going to be doing sort of like
and kind of join it if you have something that you want to say, because we're going to save the stream for like a hang, and then we'll save the Zoom for if particularly if you live in a state that's not ours. I want to hear what's happening in your state, for example.
Yeah.
Like if you know somebody that got sick, I want to hear about that. If you want to talk about civil unrest and kind of what you think that's going to look like, if you have predictions, I want to hear all these kinds of things. So it's not like I'm limiting what you have to say, but I think that like having it as a giant hang was not very productive.
Yeah, so join the waiting room and we'll sort of do like a 1-by-1 thing. Just pay attention to both screens if you're watching both the stream and trying to get into our Zoom chat.
Yeah, I'm sorry to make you guys kind of work so hard, but I don't really have a better system yet. I'll try to think of one, but I'm just testing this system to see how this works. Yeah. And then I've been doing Trump movements a lot.
Yeah.
All right, so we got
cool. We've already got Neon
here,
Oni.
so we'll let him in here real quick.
All right. Neon Oni, you are live.
Oh, wait, hang on. I got to go with this thing.
Oh.
There we go.
All right. So
it might take him a second to click over.
Again, if you're new, you won't be seeing me in the Zoom chat, just on the stream.
Yep. So we got Nianoni here, but we'll keep going till I hear him talk. Just to make sure that works. But yeah, so it's it's so funny to me. Like, I'm so curious to see what's going to be the next, like, I don't know, like what the financial future is going to be of this.
Yeah, I mean, I think after this first $1,200 check, we're gonna have to get another.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's been so long that they started promising that to us that we've all already exhausted about $1,200 trying to survive.
Well, yeah, and then also too, it's just how quickly or when it's going to actually come through, and we're going to be granted any kind of assistance. So I can hear you now, Nianoni.
Okay.
So do you have any idea as to what? So I think that Mnuchin was saying that the money could come through for people on the 15th. I am highly dubious of this. Do you think that it'll actually happen in that way?
I haven't heard that. I kind of doubt it. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't see that happening.
I mean, it's really been interesting. People are having to call unemployment, 50, 60, 80 times in order to actually speak to a live person. And I don't know. Really, we're kind of getting to see government in action and how efficient they are when they need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not feeling extremely confident lately about any of this.
Are you
about the government response?
Yeah. Are you like financially fine in the meantime?
For the meantime, but I talked to well, my situation is weird. I don't technically have an employer, but I work for I work for a place who I'm a tattoo artist. So I basically rent space from a shop.
You're pretty much exactly in the same boat as I am, yeah.
And I've spoken to the owner, and he's not sure if he's going to be able to recover from this. And the situation is weird because there's a limited number of locations where you can work, and in this field, in this area, and it's like you can't just go and like, well, I'll start working from my from my apartment or from my home or whatever. It's a pretty regulated industry in the state, and it's just kind of like so I mean, I was literally a month ago, I was debating whether I wanted to upgrade my apartment in August or start looking for a house in the spring.
Right. Yeah.
Just completely just.
Yeah,
but
those plans
are right. Yeah, it's just gone. And for the meantime, thankfully, I'm very very lucky that I'm not facing dire circumstances in the very near future, but it's not looking not particularly optimistic since about a week or so ago.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I think that I was starting to feel it in that same time frame. In the last 3 days, I've just been bummed because it's just. I think a lot of it has to do with what you were saying, which is like we have this illusion that all of the industries that we had, like even something as simple as the space that you rented, still existing, and it's like how can these people stay afloat? And it's like basically all they're being offered are loans that they're going to have to pay back, and it's like with what money? So I don't understand it.
I think I think the reality is finally starting to dawn on some people, and I mean I don't know if you noticed. Well, you're not out much, but I have to I come in contact with people because I live in an apartment building, and I, although it's the weirdest thing. I mean, I get in an elevator now, and it's like I'm literally like I'm almost crossing myself, like hoping I'm not gonna have somebody in there when the thing opens because it's. But anyway, when I do run into somebody, it's just the gloom that dangles over everybody. It's like nobody's addressing it, but it's there.
Yeah.
And, I'm starting to hear people kind of just they're trying to go about their business as normal as possible, but there's just this kind of like this uncertainty is finally starting to turn into just downright pessimism. And
did you hear that?
Did
you hear that? No, it's okay. I'm sorry. Did you hear that burglaries are up in New York State?
Yeah, that's. I'm not surprised. I predicted this a couple of days ago, but I expect in suburbs and stuff surrounding cities, urban areas. I predict we're going to start seeing kind of mobile kind of neighborhood watch groups. Like not posses or anything, but we're going to start seeing armed kind of patrols and stuff because when you're in an urban area, I mean, the resources are kind of limited, with the capacity of people there. And when
Right.
stuff's starting to, starting to dry up, and people are gonna, the burglaries and looting possibly,
You
there's nothing to loot right now in the cities,
yeah, I know. You and I were talking
if that
about.
happens.
Yeah, exactly. You and I were talking briefly over message, like about how there's been like a shift in food supply chains. Do you know any more about that other than what we were talking about?
No, I haven't been to either Walmart or the grocery store in a week, but I've been talking to a couple of people I know because I wanted to get kind of an idea before I venture out, and they're like, it's everything's been picked over. I've noticed that on Amazon, some of it's I'm starting to see some of the stuff in the pantry section, or the food stuffs starting to return a little,
Okay.
but they're limited to one or two per order.
Hmm.
And it's kind of, depending on what time you check in a day, they'll have some stuff in their inventory, and then they'll be out and come back. So I mean, it's pretty touch and go. But yeah, I mean, it's already the 6th. So if I was, I said the other day that I think it might have had something to do with people who are on food assistance programs being able to use that money on the 1st. There might have been a big rush to to kind of buy up what they could while they so it's already been almost a week, and it is starting to look a little bit more positive out there with more stuff kind of returning. So hopefully within another week, maybe it will kind of even out a little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, the thing that was concerning to me is what we both saw that made us start talking about it, which was somebody mentioning that there has been a dip in production from dairy and meat farmers.
Yeah.
But I think that the guesstimation about that being because restaurants aren't ordering as much was probably more accurate than actually any kind of shortage.
Oh,
But
okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
it's hard. I mean, because think about how much shit restaurants order just in the whole country, and then I bet
Oh,
like
yeah.
all of them are probably doing about maybe 15% of their business if they're still doing carry out, than they were doing before.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that, but yeah.
So
Um, I've spoken to you. I have uh, somebody I consider like a family friend, that her and her husband, they own a pretty significant cattle and soybean farm here in my state, Missouri.
mhm.
It's a pretty big one, and the production is for the husband who owns the farm, has been pretty steady. But I spoke to the wife of the owner of the farm the other day, and she says that the demand is up greatly.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
good news.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just it's not even like necessarily for myself and losing things. Or like having things unavailable or whatever. It's that I know that the second that people can't get something that they want, they're going to start to lose it really fast, and that's my concern.
Yeah, well, there's that old saying that, like, we basically as a society have 3 days, without food. I think you even, brought that up in a recent podcast. But there's like, we supposedly have 3 days without, access to that kind of thing before society just crumbles. And, I kind of wonder, and I don't want to sound like a Trump apologist, but last week or the week before, whenever it was, that Trump was kind of predicting, or not predicting, but saying that he hopes for the things to kind of normalize by Easter, which I don't think many people took too
No way.
seriously. I'm sorry, was that?
No, I think no. We said we just we agreed, and I think
Oh
that
yeah,
it was interesting to me that people like the way that he phrased it was not like we're opening things up by Easter. It was just
yeah,
like I would like for that to happen, but that's basically
right.
all he said.
But right, the reason I brought that up is because I wonder if he really didn't, if he knew better, but knew that saying it might prevent people from going out and panic buying everything they could,
Yeah,
and just expecting this, kind of indefinite, prolonged, lockdown.
I'm,
So, again, I don't
yeah.
want to sound like an apologist, but I think maybe that might have been a kind of a smart move. If it really was, I'm not Mr. 40 chess with Trump, but if it really was kind of a strategic thing to say, then it probably was, probably did some good.
The
You
reason why I think there might be merit to that, and I don't really consider it necessarily to be a Trump apologist thing, is that I don't know if you saw the press conference he was giving where he was talking to some CNN reporter. They brought up about like just how bleak and dire everything's going to be. He's like basically like, shut up, we need hope right now. People need hope. They
Yeah,
don't need your bullshit. And so like, I that was like one of the moves I respected of just like it's not really like it's not very helpful. Yes, we need numbers, we need to talk to doctors, we need to know how dire this is, but we don't need to like start to make these. We don't need the media to make like media talking heads, not economists. Even economists really making future predictions about what's going to happen in the economy because there's no historical precedent for this. So there really isn't anyone who's going to make an accurate model of what's going to happen. It's going to be bad. I mean, I know it's going to be bad, but the degree in which it's going to be bad, how could anyone say that with any kind of certainty? So
you know what's so odd about that though, because I agree with you. I kind of like seeing him basically say, "Listen, we need to be positive. We need to stop focusing on this doom and gloom and all this stuff." But I don't know if you saw the presser on, I think it was on Friday, when at the end he's like, listen, these numbers, these deaths are going to be huge. We haven't seen this since the World War, and it's like, it's almost like he's so used to kind of taking this like, prideful boasting of numbers that I think it's ingrained in him. Even when he's talking about like these horrific upcoming death counts, he still has to kind of like sell it.
Yeah.
And blood.
I think that a lot of what that was is where it's always good Trump, bad Trump to steal Ben Shapiro's thing, but it's like that's bad Trump because for him it's this thing of like he's seeing himself as like a general fighting a battle right now, and it's like this is a war kind of, but it's not. You need to, but I think that he's liking that framing. I've noticed it in even the way that he's tweeting, and so he's running with it in a degree that is just so ridiculous.
Yeah, he's definitely kind of adopting that military, kind of mindset to it.
Yeah,
and it's probably not the worst thing he could do.
Yeah.
But it's just and I've actually kind of wondered that because I'm like, it's so weird that I'm sitting here in my apartment playing fucking Call of Duty, thinking like, wow, this is the worst we've had it since what. World War II. I mean, as far as kind of any kind of real panic or whatever, and it's like, or you had people in London who were literally, in shelters as the Blitzkrieg was going on, and they were watching their city be destroyed, and we're here comparing ourselves to
that's been one of the most exhausting things. That's been one of the most exhausting things. Is just like people are acting as if this is their own personal like Auschwitz.
Yeah.
It's like, guys,
your ancestors were asked to go and fight in the war, and now we're asking you to sit on your ass at home. Like, have you seen that meme circulation?
Get Postmates, yeah.
It's like, just do what you can for your country or whatever that.
All right, I'm gonna let one of Sean's friends in here real quick if you don't mind. All right, cool.
All right.
So it might take a second for him to come in.
Yeah.
Oops.
He may have left. Who knows?
Leave.
But Pierce, if you are still around, you want to join. Pierce, hello. You are on.
He might not be able to. He might take him a second for us to be able to hear him.
It might take a second. So Pierce is a friend of mine that I met through YouTube back in the old YouTube days. Pierce, are you there? I don't know. I don't know if
some people don't. They have to get the microphone switched over the correct way because sometimes that doesn't end up happening.
Yeah. I've known Pierce for probably 4 years, maybe.
Yeah.
I followed him back when he had a different username, like when you had cool usernames on the internet instead of just your name. That was like before I had even changed my username to Sean D. Castro.
What was his cool username?
I don't know if he wants me to say it out loud.
Oh, okay. It's one of those.
I thought it was fucking rad. I was a senior in high school and I found his YouTube channel. I was like, I want to be this kid. I don't know. Pierce, is your microphone on? So I don't even know if he's, because we see you, but we can't hear you if you're saying anything. he's
I think he's in the middle.
I think he's gonna notice.
I was worried that this kind of thing would happen.
Eventually he'll notice.
Because maybe the delay is like a little bit far behind, so he's gonna hear us talking about.
But Pierce, if you are listening, then mute the stream and then we can continue our conversation. And if you don't put on, I think he might be calling me. If you don't put on he's literally calling.
Yeah, answer it.
All right. Hey. Oh, you can't hear us? Okay, so Pierce can't hear us. So you can't hear anything through the Zoom.
That should be.
It was working. Oh, it says
here.
There we go. Now we can hear you.
Awesome. Pierce, welcome. Glad we got that smoothed out. How are you?
I'm chilling. I'm eating a lava cake.
So are you still in Oklahoma?
I'm still here, baby.
Okay, when did you go there? Because I feel like last time we talked, you were there, and that was like over a week ago.
I've been here for about 3 weeks.
Are you choosing to stay there, or is it like all flights are getting canceled, or what?
There's like 3 flights a day home, and they all have like 4 layovers.
Oh, geez. Well, I wouldn't want to go home either. So, are you there at your girlfriend's then?
Yeah, she's in the shower right now.
Sick. Hello.
When did you leave? When did you leave? Well, because you work in New York, right?
I do, but
So
I live
when-
in something like that.
Oh, by the way, this is so Pierce. We've talked about Jordan before, but this is Jordan.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Did you get out of New York when the getting was good, or out of Connecticut, or did you just end up in Oklahoma on accident?
I was planning on coming here, and then it like started to get bad, but it wasn't like restaurants are closed bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't there. It was like a month ago. It was like March 14th or something.
God, it's almost kind of kismet. Like,
Yeah,
it's
that
lucky.
you should be there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like no one has it here. I mean, people have it, but it's not as crazy as home.
Yeah, well, because it's just New York's response. I mean, I don't know really anything about. I know a little bit about Connecticut, but not much. But like New York, they just their response was unfortunate. So it's like now they're under some of the most restrictive guidelines. They're just going to keep getting worse. Is kind of our prediction on it.
I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah, I mean, it's Sean's more the optimist. I'm the cynic.
Right. Wait, Pierce. So you work in like film production and stuff. So are you still able to work? Are you like editing right now, or is there any work that you have to do?
I have no editing work because no one
Shit.
wants.
That's basically my deal too. I work in music production, and it's like everybody no one wants to spend any money. Like everyone's like, I don't know if I have money to spend or what there is I can do. So
Yeah, everyone's holding on to their stuff right now, and plus I would feel like uncomfortable releasing something right now because no one wants. I don't think anyone would care.
No,
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
that's exactly. Sean and I have talked about that. Of just, it's like, if we had any indicator of it, it was the very very poor response to that Celebrity Imagine video, which was just who the fuck wants to see that?
Yeah, we don't care about things unless it's like pertaining exactly to our current suffering.
Mm-hmm.
So that Imagine video was exactly what we didn't want.
Right.
And things like, I don't know, like I've found a little niche myself by making stuff that's creatively fulfilling for me and being able to offer it to people, like selling masks right now. People want those.
Yeah, you've been crushing it.
It's fucking bizarre because like I was never in my life, like the most I've been paid to sew or do anything creative in my lifetime was like for 2 or 3 weeks. And now like I kind of am doing it myself. And so it feels good to do something like creative and fulfilling and get paid for it. But I am one of the lucky ones. And I feel like you, Pierce, in your situation, it's not like you're producing things. You are aiding with the production of things like filming and editing. So people have to come to you with projects.
The question I have for you is like, how do we as artists make things because we're gonna have to make things that talk about this, but how the fuck do we make it and not have it be fucking lame? That's the giant question I have.
I had an idea of doing like a skateboard video with no one in the road.
Hell yeah.
Just
I don't know. I don't want to make like a coronavirus documentary.
no.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think like something about something. I mean, it would have to be something that is more vague in the sense of like collective suffering, but that also can go so wrong too. It's so difficult to write about. It's weird. And I think that like really the bad shit's going to be what comes after this, which is going to be economic ruin. But that's again me being cynical, but.
When you're in music, did you file for unemployment or did
It's complicated though because like well, number one, the EDD site with the one for California is just over. I mean, we have like I think over 10 million claims in right now. So them fulfilling it and then being an independent contractor, which I'm sure you are too, it makes filing these things so fucking complicated. And they could really make it so simple of like, we'll just take my 1099s and look at what I made, but they're like, well, how many hours do you actually work? And it's like, it doesn't work that way. That's not how my job works. Exactly. And so Sean had a W-2 job, so it was easier for him to kind of fill that stuff out. But
yeah,
I am dubious that I'll actually get any money out of that. I will get the $1,200 though, so that's good.
Yeah, me too. I applied for the SAB like $10,000 loan thing.
Oh, I see.
Which one is that? I don't know that one.
I have an LLC, so I can do that as well. But I don't. So what is the what is the stipulation on what is the expectation on you if you take that loan?
I think you just get the money and you have to pay it back. There's like a 1% interest fee, and they just wire you the $10,000. And
Jeez.
I literally don't know. I just checked the box because everyone else was doing it. I know.
Do you carry any debt like beside that?
Any debt? I have a car payment.
Yes, and not really then. Yeah, I already I have debt, so I'm scared to take on more. You know what I mean? It's like I'm just kind of God. I'm already having to like tell all my debt collectors like, hey guys, like,
hey, chill.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I think that like it's interesting to talk to you because sounds like you're in almost exactly the same boat as me, and I've considered doing that as well, but I'm scared too a little bit to owe more money.
We're all just coasting. We're all figuring out day by day, minute by minute.
It's so true. I know. And again, it's like, you know, in minute by minute in the sense of we still don't even know what the fuck this thing is. It's like every day we learn something new.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
just
then
check Twitter moments.
Right. Right, exactly. And then the asymptomatic part of it too is what makes this so fucking confusing.
That's scary. I have a roommate who's still going to work every day, and the only thing that he gets, so like when he shows up to work, they just ask him questions like, have you had a fever in the last 3 days? Have you coughed at all? If you had like a weird cough in any of the last 3 days? And then if they say no, they just get to work with everybody. And so who knows if any of them are asymptomatic, and who knows if I've been exposed to anybody who's asymptomatic through him. It's like, it's a little scary that people are still able to work in like large groups. I don't know.
Yeah.
And because we don't know anything about the asymptomatic stuff.
Yeah. I don't understand why they consider his thing, because he does like
it's like private construction, I think.
Yeah, which it's like who's gonna fucking buy any of that shit? And then and plus like even when you're on the roads now, like when I was driving down to Orange County the other day, I was driving fucking 95 miles an hour. Like who gives a shit? It's just like okay, so I want to bring in Jacob Larson too because he's somebody who is immunocompromised and also seems to be really on top of the deaths and stuff. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Pierce, you can stay in if you want. It's up to you.
Okay.
I like your sweater, the Nickelodeon. That's fucking cool.
Oh, that is a good one.
Thanks, dude. It's got Rugrats on the back.
Dude, that's classic.
Bada-boom. Oh, and it has Ren and Stimpy too.
Oh my god.
So let me I'm gonna put him in here. Let's see, because it seems like it takes people a little while to actually get their mics to come through. But yeah, I mean, like what? Let's see, down in like, so what is like? Are you in kind of like rural Oklahoma, or is it more like suburban Oklahoma?
It's like 20 minutes south of Oklahoma City. I'm on the OU campus.
Okay.
Oh.
But no one's here because they all left.
Sick.
And they're still letting the dorms be open?
It's not a dorm, it's an apartment, but it's
Got it.
On the campus.
All of my dorms at my school are just, I think they're all closed. I think they tried to get everybody out. Everybody who had to stay is staying, but it's like very select few international students. And after that, everybody else has gone home. So, yeah, it's all, my campus is like a graveyard right now.
Yeah, that would be shitty if you were an international student. Where the fuck do you go?
Yeah, there's nowhere to go. It's weird.
All right.
Hello?
Hello, Jacob.
Hello.
How are you?
Okay. I never used Zoom before, so, I mean, I'm totally new to all this.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah.
How are you holding up? And I also wanted to ask you additionally, if you don't mind saying what is your actual what your like how are you immunocompromised? If you don't mind me asking, I know it's kind of a personal question.
I have Strogens, so I usually get dehydrated pretty quickly, and my eyes get pretty much dry. I had a rheumatologist appointment about, let's say, a month and a half ago, where I got diagnosed and stuff like that. So I've only had this for only a couple months.
Oh, interesting.
I started coughing up mucus and stuff like that, so I was like, I have to go to I had to go to the hospital because my sister begged me to go because I don't really like going to the hospital or anything like that to go get myself checked out. And then my sister was like, you need to go, and I was like, okay, I'll go. So I had to get blood work done. I had to get a chest X-ray, and then they signed me up for that rheumatologist appointment. And then that's when they figured out and they gave me the results.
So it's kind of like it's in the like the rheumatoid kind of arena is what you have essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting because they're saying that people with lupus and rheumatoid issues are like two people that are pretty high risk for having complications from this. So like what are kind of some extra precautions that you're taking?
I haven't really been going outside. I've been to the grocery store one time, but since this whole like pandemic started. So
And are you in Indiana as well?
yeah, I am in Indiana.
Yeah. Are you kind of in like a more rural part? Or are you kind of more in a suburban or like a metropolitan area?
I mean, I'm like in a rural city, but
Oh.
we're in like the middle of nowhere. It's all cornfield out here and all that
Okay.
stuff. So
That's kind of the best case scenario. I mean, I think a lot of people who are in cities right now prefer they were in that position. Like, like just not having like, because the density of population around us is what kind of freaks me out more than kind of anything, to be honest. Like even more than the virus is just the sheer number of people that are around us.
Even me, like stepping outside and seeing my neighbors in the next unit, I'm like, I have my mask on every time I go out. Even when I take out the trash, I put it on. It's like I'm doing everything I can to not, even though like I see them often, I want no like direct or physical contact with them. It's like I just avoid anything, even with people who are,
Your neighbor seems
close.
like she has lupus to me. That's what it sounds like.
I think she might.
Yeah.
And so she's probably, but she's seeing people all day. People are in and out of their house.
Her
It's like,
random boyfriend she
I
has.
don't, I'm not judging, but like I see a lot of people go over to their house, and I'm wondering how many precautions are they taking because they seem to be ill. I don't know. Jacob, do you live like on your own? Do you live with family? Like, are you able to go out and get groceries or have somebody do that for you?
yeah, I live by myself right now, so I have my own apartment until July 31st.
Why that date?
That's when my lease ends.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Do you think, I mean, like it's hard to predict right now, but when your lease ends, are you going to seek another place out? Are you going to renew it? Or are you going to go back home?
I probably will go back home for a month or two, and then
Yeah.
I'll probably look for my own apartment. That was my plan.
Are you a student?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, it's I mean, because it's the what are you studying, if you don't mind me asking?
Civil engineering.
Oh, well,
a lot of people don't know what that is.
No, that's
No.
that's a useful one. I was about to say, if you're getting a humanities degree, you might want to.
No. Yeah.
Drop out now.
Yeah, I don't really see that. I don't see humanities degrees having much of a purpose in a post-quar world, post-corona. But no, civil engineering I think will be massively useful after this. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it really sucks because they canceled graduation too. So I'm supposed to graduate in May, and they ended up canceling it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I feel really badly for all those people because it's like I have another friend. She was at Berkeley, and this was the year that she graduated, and it's been a completely unceremonious, sad kind of ending to this sort of prestigious school she went to and took loans for and went into debt for. So it's I feel really bad for people that are in your position because I don't know, you guys got hit pretty fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I do you think that we're all just gonna end up back with our fucking families, like Japanese style?
That's the thing. That's why I asked. Like, I know it's hard to predict, but where do you think you'll end up? Like, my parents have just been like, look, like our doors are open for you if you need to move out. And like, I just moved into my new place, like 3 months ago maybe, and like I don't want to regress.
Right.
But if I have to, I will. It's just like it'll be fucking hard. Mm-hmm. It's hard right now, but imagine. If you are with your parents, like, good for you for being able to survive with them during this whole thing. But, and I'm talking generally, but I don't know. Like, after having moved out of my parents' house, I have such a stronger relationship with them than I did before.
They become your friends.
Yeah,
it's different.
I feel much closer to my parents now because, like, when we do talk, there's a lot of meaning behind it. So when I do go over there, I visit them. Everything feels very valuable. But when I lived there before, I felt kind of dismissive of their place in my life because I was a fucking rowdy kid. But now that I've moved out, it's totally different. I don't know if I could move back in.
No,
I think it would just totally be tough.
Yeah, I think my parents are like, no, it's not gonna.
No way.
I have to
stay the fuck out of our house.
Yeah, essentially. So. Like Jacob, you're the one that always has all the numbers for us. So are you just kind of you're just refreshing Twitter all the time to kind of see what's going on, or what are you kind of looking at, and like what are your predictions of what this is going to end up being?
My predictions. Let's see. I mean, we're gaining around for the last 6 days. We've gained 5,000 new deaths every single day.
Jesus.
So like I would say by the end of this week we'll probably have over 100,000 dead, which is horrible, honestly.
I'm kind of because I think I'm interested obviously in what's happening in the current moment, but I mean like inevitably in winter this is going to come back, and what it's going to look like when it does come back. Oh
no! So apparently we don't have Zoom Premium, so we're gonna be cut off in about 10 minutes.
We didn't have that problem before, did we?
No. But we can.
We can just redo it.
We can always redo it and put in a new chat. But
yeah, that's fucking funny.
That is silly because I know they extended our last one, and I was like, "What's that about?"
Yeah.
But sorry, what were we?
Let's take a look at how much they want. How many clams do they want?
How many clams? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
How many shillings?
I don't want to put that on the thing.
No, yeah. You can switch it back over, but so everybody on the Zoom chat, you guys will be muted for a second.
Okay, let's see here.
I don't even remember what we were just talking about because fucking Zoom.
The amount of deaths.
The amount of deaths, right. I think like the exponential growth has been slowing a little bit, like percentage. Holy shit.
Yeah,
$15 a month.
Yeah, no way.
Great for small teams. That's awful. Who's going to pay $15 a month for Zoom? We might have to figure something else out.
Yeah, we might.
But I mean, even if we keep like our Zoom chats shorter, if we have 40 minutes, we can do 10 minutes at the beginning of us just talking, 40 minutes of a Zoom chat, and then 10 minutes at the end. We have a full hour there.
Yeah, I think that's probably
we'd figure something out.
out.
Sorry about that, Jacob. We kind of cut off our conversation there.
No problem.
So like do you suspect like I do that the winter is gonna bring something out that's gonna be much more frightening?
Yeah, like the worst case scenario is if this virus like mutates or something, but like it's probably gonna come back definitely during the winter.
Yeah, I think so too. All right.
Yeah, I mean we've talked about waves before and stuff.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy what we have in our history to show. Like first wave of Spanish flu was not as bad as the second.
No.
The second wiped out millions more. So, yeah, I think we'll just have to be as careful as possible to stomp this out.
Yeah.
Or stamp
out. Stomp it
as quick as much as we can right now, so it doesn't come back as horrible. It's like a magnitude effect, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So if we are proactive now, we can sort of diminish the second wave. Hopefully. I don't know if it'll work like that. But
yeah.
We'll see.
I'm trying to think what to do here with this. Yeah. Let's end this one, and then we'll keep talking for a minute, and then put another one up if we want to do more of the Zoom. I mean, we're at almost an hour, so I mean, these don't have to necessarily be 2 hours.
Yeah, I know, that's true.
And I, to be perfectly honest, like these last 3 days, I've kind of, I've not. I don't know. I'm feeling weird. Finally, it finally hit me. So
it is starting to get a little weird. I'm not mentally compromised yet. Like I think I've prepared myself enough for this isolation in my past mental health history or whatever. But it does feel a little odd, and also I feel like people need to catch up to the precautions to avoid getting infected and spreading the virus. Like I see people around me, like my neighbors were sitting on their back patio, just like smoking a cigarette 3 feet apart, and I'm like, God, like you could just be 6 feet apart and like wearing a mask or something. And I don't know. I am worried about that kind of thing because people don't take it as seriously as I'm taking it right now. And maybe I'm overreacting, but if we all overreacted, it would be great for killing the virus.
Right.
So I don't know. That's what makes me feel weird because people are not catching up.
But I mean, again, like with it inevitably, it's going to resurface. I don't really see how that this is going to really do much of anything. Like, and
sure, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's a good idea, obviously, this kind of shelter in place thing, but it's like, I just don't see.
Do you guys think, for this Easter, you think a lot of people are going to get affected because people are coming over for Easter and all that stuff? Or?
Oh God.
Yeah. I hadn't even really. I mean, I'm so disinterested in the holiday that like I've not even thought about it. But it's certainly possible. I mean, it's nothing like a super hyper religious like people that just like you see like those Kenneth Copeland videos or whatever, and it's just
the one I sent you.
Yeah, and it's
awful.
just there's like a level of delusion on that front. And I'm not shitting on religious people, but like there is like this idea of this day with something to do with Jesus and eggs and rabbits. I don't really know why we do this, but yeah, you're probably right. I mean, the people are going to be stupid, and they're going to have grandma over, and really young kids that probably have it but are asymptomatic, and they'll probably kill grandma. So yeah, probably. I mean.
Yeah,
probably that will happen. unfortunately. So really, I'm going to end this current meeting, and then we'll go back to our normal thing. So if you have the stream, and then if I pop another one, feel free to join again. And then I'm sorry, I don't know why they started doing this all of a sudden.
Yeah, we'll put the link back in the chat like before. So if anybody else wants to join, or if you guys want to rejoin, we can continue talking as well.
All right, so we're going to go back to our normal thing. But
all right,
see you guys all in a second.
Yeah, on the stream. I wanted to talk about the maybe we can talk about the whole religious thing, because I saw this video today of like a local news reporter going to where people were lining up outside of a church in their cars to go to Sunday Mass yesterday. And he interviewed some lady, and she was like, I am covered
in Jesus' blood.
In Jesus' blood. This virus will not get me. It will not get anybody I know. I go to Walmart. I go to the grocery store. I will not get infected. They'll try to infect me, but I'm covered in Jesus' blood. And I will not infect anybody else. It's like, Jesus.
The biggest problem about that is like, look, if you want to take those risks and make those choices, that's on you. But the problem is that like people like her are going to be what makes the state get really aggressive and like martial law type thing, which people do not. Again, I think that people are so, number one, I'm shocked that people not really. Because the first thing I started to do when this was going on was starting to look at historical models. And like, yes, like I said, you can't really compare it to anything, but there are things that you can compare of like, what does the country look like in wartime? Like what wartime that isn't even from our boomer parents' generation. It's, or mine anyway, your parents aren't boomers, but, and it's bleak, you know what I mean? And the idea, I'm not really sure in the last 100 years if there's ever been a martial law type situation, but again, it's like people don't really understand that like how aggressive that can get, and considering that this is a virus and not like a physical threat, who knows when that would end. And so, but that, I mean, the extension of that is they're going to have to keep paying us. Like if the government is requiring us to stay indoors and shuttering all the businesses, like they have to pay us to not work. Like there's no other option for it.
I'm going to tell my parents that you don't think they're boomers. They're going to be so flattered that you think they're Gen X.
They're not. They are Gen X.
No. I think it's 65. 1965 is the cutoff, right?
Really?
Yeah, they're within the range.
They're so
just barely.
They're
like
so
by
classically
a year.
Gen X though, because like all of the music that you grew up on was 80s music.
Well, they turned like 21 in like the 80s. So yeah, their prime was their prime. I say that like they're not like youthful or healthy right now, but like their prime like in college and whatever was the 80s. So that's of course like when they were doing when there was all that music, when they were doing fucking coke in the bathroom.
God bless them. Pour some sugar on me.
Although I doubt my parents were actually doing coke. Maybe they just maybe they were, but they weren't. They don't tell me. They're gonna love
your
this.
dad too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was like that. My mom had the best answer about that, because like like when I was doing all the drugs I was doing, and I asked her what did you do? And when she was like, that's those cool conversations you have once you've moved out and they don't feel like they have to be your parent anymore. She's like, well, she's like, she smoked pot, and she's like, well, I did cocaine and I loved it, but then I saw how expensive it was. And I'm like, I cannot afford this. And I'm like,
wow, you are her son.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I would $100 for like an 8-ball. Hell no.
Oh, it's way more than that.
Wait, really?
It's about $100 for a gram. I mean, less than that, but.
Sorry then.
Yeah.
I don't know anything. I just know that 8-ball is a coke term.
Yeah, it is.
And I had a roommate who was like had a coke problem.
Oh, that's right, you did. Yeah. No,
I had a roommate. Not
8-ball is fucking. Well, I mean, especially if it's good. Cocaine. Cocaine's so low on my tier of drugs I like doing that I seldom do it. And normally I don't ever pay for it. It's like. I think
that's the thing. You shouldn't pay for cocaine. Somebody will give it to you.
Well, and that, exactly. And the reality is that when you go out to places in LA, at least somebody has it, and then like they want friends. So
nobody likes doing cocaine alone.
No.
I don't speak from experience, but nobody likes to do it alone.
I want to catch up on
you to the bathroom.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I'm going to catch up on some comments here. Greg says living at home during this pandemic makes the dynamic much more complicated, and it's not necessarily in a completely positive way. Speaking from current circumstances, yeah, I know you're with your parents. It's probably, I can imagine it's probably rough, and especially I think a lot of where the problem lies, and this happened to me early on, was talking to my parents about how my existence is going to be radically altered in the negative, and them not listening and projecting their financial stress on as like treating it like me talking about my thing was some kind of attack, and it was like, so I think it's probably like everyone's stressed out right now, and if they're not realizing that they're reacting poorly because they're stressed out, it's going to create all kinds of conflict. Unfortunately, we're fine now, but because like I said, it took the Wall Street Journal or whatever to kind of educate my dad on how fucked people like myself and Pierce are, for example. And Kevin Lee says, I like the pastel covers, which colors, which is for
I'm
Easter.
gonna wear pastel from home.
Yeah, you should.
I used to have these really cute pastel yellow shorts. I wish I still had them, but they got this awful grease stain that I like a tar grease stain, like black, and I could not get it out for the life of me, so I had to throw them away.
Oh no.
They were so cute, and they were like tight and skimpy, and I loved wearing them on Easter.
Have I seen them before?
No, I got rid of them like a year before we met.
Greg Hartley says also, I am honestly surprised that the Catholic churches have been so diligent in canceling mass and extracurriculars. It's great. I just was expecting us to hold on longer. Yeah, I think the Catholic Church is just desperate for good PR after all the boy fucking, so they're going to be, I think, kind of wise as much as they can be. Especially because especially Catholic gatherings are so fucking dense. I think like Islam is the only one that has them beat. It's like just in terms of just tight knit sort of celebration. Greg also says Palm Sunday was yesterday. And Easter coming up.
That's why I saw that news thing of people lining up in their cars. Okay. Palm Sunday.
Oh, Easter coming up, and the churches are like, yeah, no, stay home. Okay, thanks. Like I said, it's the right move, and it'll be great to see. But I'm a bit shocked. I am too, to be honest.
I think we'll find that in like rural places, like the one that was on that news broadcast, will not catch up to that because people like that have spirituality that's very important to them.
We probably should pull up the Kenneth Copeland clip.
Yeah, I sent it to you. I wonder, are you able to find it?
I know his name, so I'm pretty sure I can find it.
Oh God! And it's the first one.
Is that the one that you sent me?
Oh, maybe.
It's this. It is. Yeah. It's this one. All right. So this guy, he's the head of a mega church. He's been around for fucking ever. We played a clip of him being a ghoul about his private jets.
Ghoul, yeah.
But he just is a demon, and so here's him being a demon.
Yeah.
Win. Almighty. Strong. South wind. Heat. Burn this thing. In the name of Jesus. Satan, you bow your knee. You fall on your face.
Look at his hairy forearms. See his wrist? It was like a
COVID-19.
And they repeat it.
The wind of God.
Oh,
God. On you. You are destroyed forever. And you will never be back. Thank you, our God. Let it happen. Cause it to happen.
That was fucking... I feel better already. It's gone.
Someone brought up the best comparison. So I want to pull up. Okay, there's something I want to pull up. So it's the face he makes. Watch. Okay, so it's that. So there's a character that was. So do you remember the movie The Mask with Jim Carrey? Did you ever see that movie?
Yes, of course.
So do you remember when the bad guy puts
wiggly.
the mask on? What he looks like?
No.
Okay, hang on a second.
Is he summoning Captain Planet? I would blow Captain Planet.
Doesn't this look like Kenneth Copeland?
Oh my God.
Let me find. There's one picture in particular. So let's look at it. Well, actually, let me grab. Let's just grab that. That's good enough. So let me show you guys. So let me show you Kenneth Copeland first. Hang on.
I do remember this now.
Yeah. So here's this still of Kenneth Copeland, right? So get that image in your head. Now look at the evil guy from The Mask. It's exactly the same face.
Scroll up a little bit more because we're covering him.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, our little
Oh, he's all it can. Well, I mean, you could see it here. It's just like, well, actually, I can move it. Boop.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know why they have side by side with John Travolta, but because it wasn't John Travolta. But yeah, same face. Neononi also had a really good joke. He said, "I predict that the virus will die on Friday. Sadly, it will be resurrected on Sunday."
That's pretty fucking good.
Animal Crossing made me remember Easter Day was coming up with a bunny day. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's on the 12th. Bunny Day is on the 12th. I'm excited.
Greg said also, Jordan, yes and no about the Catholic PR thing. Yes, that's Rome's prerogative, but in terms of U.S. parishes, especially rural, I've noticed the worry is more so inward perception than outward. Well, that's good to know. Sorry. I don't know. I don't think you had joined when I was doing all my, even before Epstein. I have a big thing about child molestation. It's like a crusade of mine, and I think they just really got away with it.
Yeah, we're actually, so our flights to Little St. James got canceled because of COVID-19.
I know, and
so we were planning a journalistic trip, but it got pushed back. We don't know until when. But
we want to find out what's under the cement that he poured.
I will take a jackhammer.
It's Carol Baskin's husband is under the cement.
Do you think they're working together?
Absolutely. I mean, because Carol Baskin and Hillary Clinton are completely interchangeable. It's like she could have just showed up and he would have just been like, Hillary.
A different haircut. Yeah. Same person.
Yeah. And hello, cats and kittens.
Hey, all you cats and kittens.
So Greg says, hence cancellations, not heavily advertised outside the parishes. We're not trying to evangelize as much anymore, just trying to retain, which is not going well. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, like, again, whenever I talk shit on like China or Catholicism or any of these, I mean, my grandmother was a hardcore Catholic. It's like, it's never the people, it's the establishment, obviously. Like, yeah. So for China, it's the Chinese government. For Catholics, it's the Catholic institution that hid this just systematic rape of young boys. Oh yeah, okay. He says, I'm aware of your stance. I just don't know how far back you've been listening to us, because like we've literally just done episodes almost entirely on that.
I know. So. Yeah, we have like 3 of them.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, and I got like a little obsessed with it for a while there.
We should get back into that.
Yeah.
Now that we have all this free time, that's a hobby we should take.
Just it's like we become like Epstein truthers.
We should. I mean, we are.
We are
not in practice anymore, but like in identity, sure. Mm-hmm. I'm an Epstein truther.
Of course, he didn't kill himself.
No way.
Hillary did.
Hillary.
It's easier for me to say it that way.
I like it.
I cannot do Hillary. It's
Hillary.
Hillary. I go very southern on it. Hillary.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But let's see. We're about an hour 7.
Should we open it back up just in case anybody? Yeah, we can do like 1 or 2 more if people join.
That's a good idea.
No pressure if you don't want to. We'll have it open. But you and I could probably go for a little while longer.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Even if nobody joins.
Let me put the invite in the thing here.
I think just eventually I'm gonna have to pee.
Then boop.
And that's my whole deal.
There we go.
So we posted the new link. So join if you want to. No pressure again.
Yeah. I think it's gonna depend. If it's $14.99 a month, I might pay for it. But if they want you to pay it all at once, I won't do that. So
no way. No.
But I think that like even splitting it up into 40-minute segments is probably wise. Because then it's like we can do a reset of like people kind of come in to say what they want to say and then go back and whatever. It's kind of unprofessional, but
yeah,
you know, who really gives a shit?
We're the fucking fruit basket, bitch.
I know. It's actually kind of interesting because like I've been watching, you watch things like Rising where it's like a very professionally produced kind of show and like it doesn't need to be. And so it's kind of like gauche and inaccessible in a way that like they're trying to look corporate.
There would be more charm if they had like sort of salt of the earth production behind it.
Agreed.
You know?
Yeah, and then you have someone like Jimmy Dore who kind of is doing it like us, but he's just drunk all the time now.
Is he really?
Dude, he is wasted on every show that he does, and it's not cute. It's like we get drunk on ours, but he's like drunk before it even starts.
Yikes.
And it's a little bit ugly. But yeah. I would love Yana to come in.
Do you want me to text her?
Yeah, you should try that. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if she's around. It'd be very cool. Sorry, I'll be a little distracted, so you'll have to take the baton.
Greg says he likes the breaks. I do too. The last one we got a little bit in the weeds. I didn't. I couldn't even like. Usually I'll listen back to the ones that we do, and the last one I was getting. I could even see myself getting physically like exhausted and. Because it was too many people. Number one, we can't really keep doing that. And then some people are like a little bit. I'm a motor mouth. You're a little bit more deliberate and with the way that like the words you choose to say and speak. And so,
notice how I'm not saying yes to you or no to you right now
because you disagree. because you're thinking about your response.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, so it's with the fucking fruit basket, bitch.
The fruit
Where is
basket.
it? Here it is. Oh,
All right, Jacob is back.
all right.
Welcome back, Jacob.
It always takes some.
If it takes you a second to join, no problem. We can keep talking, you and I.
Oh, did he?
Oh no, he might have bailed. I mean, no big deal.
Oh, there he is.
Great. It's weird that it's done that a couple times today, where they disappear for a second and come right back. I don't know.
I guess like the thing I want to ask. So Jacob should be in now. I want to ask. Do you have any questions for us? I know we're just some dumb dick young people.
Yeah,
but
big dumb swinging dicks over here.
But it seems like a lot of people do kind of want some, I don't know, answers.
Sure,
I
yeah.
guess. So like, or is there something that you want to talk about? So you're more than welcome to do that too. Oh,
Supposedly, more minorities are at risk of getting this and dying from it.
I saw that.
white Americans, yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, I saw your comment on it, and where did you see that? Because initially, what they were saying was that it was less likely for Black folks to get affected by this, but then now it seems like it's reverse course, and I don't know why that is.
Supposedly, like Black Americans, they're more at risk for like diabetes and
Yeah.
heart disease and what's it something with your lungs. I can't think of it.
Well, then there's
can't think of the
also
name of it, but
there's also sickle cell anemia. But there's I forgot which book it was that I was reading about it, but like what they were talking about essentially was where you are geographically from is really dependent upon how you can break down alcohol and sugar. And so, for instance, like Africa and like really arid areas, they didn't have access to fruit, right? But like kind of where my trash people came from, we had quite a bit of access to alcohol, fruit, fermentation kind of things. So now that with like kind of the typical American diet, it's less likely for white folks to get diabetes because we have the ability to process sugar. And alcohol is one in particular, like the Asian glow thing, which is true, like how Asian people get flushed when they drink alcohol. What they found is that if you get that, it's likely that you'll get
Esophageal cancer.
esophageal cancer,
Yeah.
and also the lactose intolerant thing. So
Right, and I imagine your tribe was like you had fish meat, you had dairy. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
so like
definitely.
you have all these things that you had access to. I'm not so sure about my lineage.
oh, we can see you. Hello.
Hello,
That's
welcome.
one hell
I
of a
didn't know you
haircut.
could turn a video on.
Yeah,
Hell
no,
yeah.
there you go.
But yeah, my lineage I'm not so sure about. I'm sure it's
I think
it's
you're
similar
you're
to
from
you,
the same,
but
pretty much the same region that I am. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys went down to Latin America, but you were pretty much from the same part of Italy as I think that I am.
yeah, but
Right?
it's like where we're from, it's like we probably had a lot less like rice patties than places like in Eastern Asia. Kevin says I like my Asian glow because it gives me a natural blush. I know. I think actually I don't process alcohol very well.
You definitely get
I get
drunk fast.
dude.
But you're also pretty skinny and smaller.
I'm a tiny
Lanky.
boy. That's true.
Yeah.
Very lanky boy.
And then the problem is I have the opposite problem. It's like I have to consume a shitload to get drunk, and then the equivalent hangover is the same for the amount that I had to drink. So it's kind of a vicious cycle. But like my trash people were definitely just alcoholics through and through. So it serves us to kind of be that. Adrian is asking in the chat, do you guys think that they're going to extend the stay-at-home order after April 30th? Yes, absolutely, I do.
Yeah, for sure.
And because I mean, even some states are already saying that they want to extend it to June. But there's just we're not like I think I said on the last one, but we're not getting a summer by any means. Like there's absolutely no way a summer is going to happen.
Yeah, no, there's no summer body 2020.
No.
No summer 20.
Are you working on your summer body, Jacob?
I mean, I've lost around 20 pounds for the last like 4 or 5 months. So
No
That's
shit.
fucking
I'm
awesome.
not like a gym head or or anything like that, but I mean, I try to stay fit.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So, like, what was the outlet that you saw them reporting on Black folks getting more affected? Like, where did it come from?
I think it came from. I have it on my Twitter. Let's see. I think it was from the Chicago like stats. Like
Okay.
supposedly like there are 110 people died in like Chicago, and 86 of them were like Black, and the rest were either white or Mexican.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
well,
where I
because
suffer from.
Latinos have the same problem with diabetes. It's because the same problem. From my understanding, is it's like the processing of, and then like you look at what people eat. It's just madness, and especially like times like this, it's. I don't know. I mean, it's so like the idea of drinking like a 2-liter soda and just eating chips as a meal, but people do this shit all the time. And
I think we see like in Chicago, it's sort of an example of like, what was that movement in what, like the 40s or 50s when white people moved away from the city? What was that? Suburban, urban something?
Urban flight, yeah.
Urban flight, when like white people and people not of color left. That's just white people left the city, and so people like minorities moved or stayed in the city, and so cities are more densely packed. We're still suffering from like urban flight. So white people are not, they're in suburbs. Black people and Mexicans and like Latinos in general, I mean to say, are still in the cities or live in closer proximity to one another in these cities. So rate of transmission would be higher, I imagine. And because we are still suffering from the unspoken sort of suburban and urban segregation, obviously communities that are in more urban areas are going to suffer the most because they spread it more. There are more people around.
Yeah,
you know?
well, yeah.
We have the luxury, not we, but my parents have the luxury of being in a very suburban area, so they aren't seeing anybody. Maybe when they walk their dogs, but like they aren't having
My family lives in the suburbs. Yeah.
Yeah, they aren't having to take like a subway somewhere to go get groceries. They aren't having to sit in a tube with germs just floating around in vacuumed air.
But it's also so dependent upon like how your city's laid out. Like before this happened, it was terrible living in LA because it's such an urban sprawl. Like yes, there's a bunch of people, but it's so far spread out that like getting you would think like, oh, like West Hollywood's really close to Malibu. It's not. It's like an hour drive at least. But because everything's so spread out and the infrastructure is so terrible, instead of it being like New York where everything's just built on top of each other, that's why they're, I think, having a lot of the problem is that everyone is literally just on top and then we're all kind of spread out. And so it was annoying up until like, because why do we have mass public transit? Why don't we have this and that? And then it's like now it's kind of like who fucking cares? Do you want to catch up on some of these comments here, Sean?
Yeah, sure. So maybe I sparked some outrage. No. Kevin says there's a lot of black people in Chicago. Greg says Indiana hasn't extended to the 30th yet. I think it's only through the 20th or 24th right now. They'll definitely extend it. Southern Chicago projects, Kevin says, yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, that's kind of what I mean. Like, the only real example I have of like seeing Chicago is like the show Shameless.
Yeah.
And it's like you see sort of like, I know it's a fictional show, but it's representative of, exactly. Yeah. It's in the area. It's representative of how close the houses are together and like how sort of they live in a very dilapidated house and like they're all just like very bunched together. I mean, Greg says there's a lot of everybody in Chicago. Not saying there isn't maybe a black majority, but I don't believe it's as high of a majority as perception serves. I mean, I totally agree, but what I'm saying is that like it might be that we are still feeling the repercussions of urban flight in major cities that are built in a way, like you said, their infrastructure is put together enough. Like LA has such a sprawl, Chicago probably doesn't. I mean, there are suburbs of Chicago, but when you go to proper Chicago, I feel like everything is very close together.
Well, like wealthier white people would live in like Lakewood and then would probably commute into Chicago.
All the yuppies over there, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Who the ones that are going to be insulated until they're not. But I think that's what's going to be interesting. That thought of like all these people thinking that they're going to be, they're not going to get affected by this, and it's going to hit,
of course,
everybody, and especially like when the government, because I think that like BlackRock is, which is like a giant horrible sort of venture capitalist kind of vulture firm, are like handling the funds that are supposed to be doled out for small business loans and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, and why do all these companies sound so fucking evil? By the way,
Shadow.
BlackRock, Shadow, Bain Capital. It's just they're all like the most fucking evil, and they behave as such. Yeah. And so like I said, I think in one of the earlier ones is what's going to end up happening is that like they're going to be sympathetic until we stop receiving money, and then they're not going to be able to get the money that they want to collect upon us. They're going to kick us all out of where we live and take all of our assets and then try to sell them back to us. That's what's going to end up happening.
Very cool.
And it's going to affect, I think, everybody unless you're like the super rich. I think is like the only, or like if you, and I'm wondering like people who have mortgages or like, it's going to get fucking wild in that regard. But I think I'm running out of shit to say.
I think I am too.
Yeah. All right, Jacob. We're gonna end it on the chat here, and then we're gonna go back to the main one, and then probably close it out.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, and then we'll definitely see you on the next one when we do this for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, see you, buddy.
Yeah, awesome. See you guys.
See ya. All right, so let's get in here. Do you have any closing thoughts, Sean?
I don't think so. No. Just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm very lucky in that I have something that I can sort of survive on right now. But a lot of people are not in that position. Like I have money saved for being able to move out that I didn't expect to use, but it's okay that I'm using it now.
Yeah.
I have a reason to use it. It's a bummer because I wanted to spend it on like a fucking house.
Yeah.
But if I have to use it now, I will. And also like I'm doing what I can to make money to survive this without a job.
The thing that I'm curious about for the both of us is that like, if we can get this thing to do something, which by the way, I'm going to throw it out there for all you guys. Like, I know these are long. So like, I mean, we have some of the shorter ones that are cut up or whatever, but if you have a friend that you think might be interested in listening to us like you guys do, please share it with them because YouTube doesn't allow you to grow at all. I mean, especially talking about this particular subject. Like I went to the COVID-19 hashtag and then also the two that I have on there, and they're only putting news organizations on there. And so it's just the slow death of YouTube, but it's and you know people are talking about viable options. Go to BitChute. BitChute fucking blows, guys. And
it's
like
awful.
And and if you've been listening to me for a while, you know that I don't say this lightly. Like it's just full of fucking neo-Nazis. it's bad. And so there's really no diversity of thought on there.
Our stuff is automatically mirrored over there, isn't it?
Most of it, but I don't.
Weird.
Some of it goes up. Like there was like a 3-month period where it wasn't happening, and then suddenly I checked it the other day, and we had like 3 things go up, like 2 full episodes, and then 1 small clip that we did. I don't understand it.
That's
but like,
really bizarre.
But the biggest thing with the BitChute is you can't do live streaming. Number one, and number two, everything's in 720p. So it like when you're used to doing things in 1080, it looks like shit and it looks dated. And so
you guys can see the individual mustache hairs I have going right now.
Yes, exactly.
But on BitChute, it would just look like I have a gray face.
Exactly. Tom says I heard something on NPR about Detroit. The percent of African Americans among the dead from the virus was significantly higher than the population of African Americans in the population. What does that mean?
So like the total population of people who have died from the virus, if you break it down into
ethnic
groups, it's disproportionately African Americans.
Oh, okay. That was just it. I think when I was reading it, it was hard for me to kind of follow the train of thought.
Yeah, Tom, I think you were talking to me about like how they're like federally investigating Zoom bombers.
Yeah.
He messaged me about like the NPR app thing. And yeah, Greg says thanks for sharing the source on that as well. Yeah, I'll look it up and see what we've got going on there. But the Zoom bombers thing, I'm glad that like even in the past 2 days, Zoom was like, oh yeah, we're just gonna switch it over to always have a waiting room because. I mean, like, people are bombing these things, bombing, like, elementary school classes and showing their tits.
I know.
It's like, that's awful. Like, it sounds funny, like, to join but you're exposing yourself, and it's like, it should be a fucking felony, so they should be investigated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for sure, like, when that kind of stuff happens. But, I mean, really, all they had to do was implement the thing that they have now, which is just automatically put everyone in the waiting room and only approve the people that you know who they are. So.
Yeah.
Neononi says, I'm a horrible dissident, right? Deplorable, and the BitChute comments make me even say, what the fuck? Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I think I actually sent it to Neononi, but when I made that solo video that I did, just talking about like how the gay community's broken and pissing me off, people didn't even watch the comment. They just read gay in the title and was like, Jesus is going to never forgive you for your sins and you're going to hell. And then like another comment was like, the Jews are the real and you're just like, what does this have to? Yeah, it's like, if you actually watch the content, you probably would agree with what I'm saying, but it was like just the title was enough for them to like you need to repent. It's like, okay, will do. But yeah, so I'm sorry, like if the people who ended up going into the Zoom thing, if I cut you short, I try not to do that. But do you think? I mean,
no, I think we did great.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to manage it with this. Like, I think that even just we can even have everybody there. I think if we let people in one at a time, I think people understand kind of who we're talking. I think that psychologically seems to kind of get people to wrap their head around it.
I think it worked really well today.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And we're hoping to get Dallas in.
Yeah, because I think he's sick.
He's not listening, and I feel like maybe he like his fever. So maybe he has a fever now.
Yeah,
and he's too sick to listen.
I don't want to speak too much for him, although I think that he wouldn't mind me saying. But he's sick with something, and it sounds peculiar, and so I don't know. But he told me that he was going to go to sleep, so I think he's sleeping right now.
Yeah.
I would be curious to kind of see what goes on with that, and also I wanted to talk to him because he got fired. Which is interesting because he can't get unemployment.
Seriously?
He said Canada just does that. Like, if you're not there for 8 months, they don't have to give a reason for firing you. And so...
Wait, if you're not there for 8 months?
It's some weird thing they...
But it's been only, like, he stopped working from what I understand, like,
no, but he hadn't had the job for that long. He'd only been there for, like, 3 or 4 months.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
Yeah. So, anyway, it'll be interesting on the next one to...
I think in California it's 3 months. Sorry to cut you off.
I think Monday and Friday for these. I think that's probably the good shot.
Cool.
Because the thing... we were going to do the one on Sunday, and I'm like, I don't have any new news because the news doesn't really boot back up till Monday. And then by Friday, we'll kind of have the week's end recap. And then... So, Monday, Friday for these... Normal episode without Zoom on Wednesday.
Feels good.
Kind of be what it would be. Jacob says, I had never used Zoom before. I use Skype and Discord. Didn't know people can just join your cam and troll. Yeah, well, I mean, we dealt with it on the last one, but now it can't really happen anymore.
It turns out, I don't know who that guy was.
Oh, just a rando?
Just a rando. I don't know how he found us.
It probably is somebody that follows you.
A follower, but I have no idea.
Or maybe on mine, but I don't know. I don't know.
Because I asked my friend about the dude who shares the same name that we saw, and he's like, oh no, that man is like 77 years old. And I'm like, then who the fuck did we have? Because we had 2 people. I don't know who they were.
I mean, but it didn't really bother me. It was just sort of like, here, say what you want to say. And it's so funny with people like that think they're like being hilarious, and then you're like, all right, the floor is yours. They're like, they
fucking
panic.
choke.
Yeah.
And also, like he came on and showed his nipple. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember it.
And so it's
I was just kind of looking at it in the corner, like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, why would you do that? But also, like, he could have showed anything and gotten us fucking kicked off. And I don't want to put that message into anybody.
I think it was so funny because he was trying to goof on like our small kind of subscriber count, and it's like that kind of thing. I'm thinking like I probably have friends that know that I do this. They don't watch it, and they go like, oh, like 200 subscribers, and it's like, bitch, you get 200 people to give enough of a shit about you just talking. Mm-hmm. Try. It's like even the people that we kind of we I think each thing we get about 40, 50 people. That's I am baffled that we get that
too.
And so grateful. Like, and so it's kind of weird to me of like, I think I even had that perception before I started doing this of like, they don't matter because they're so small. And then now I'm like, oh, this is actually like, you're having to actually be interesting for over an hour.
Yeah, this is fucking
and get people to
cool.
want to listen to you. Jacob, you did perfectly fine.
Absolutely.
And I really hope you'll come in on the next one as well, because I want to actually talk to you more about your degree on the next one and maybe what the future use of that will be.
Yeah, that'll be very
in
cool.
this new economy. So kind of think about that for Friday. Tom says Pennsylvania has that kind of law. If they call you an at-will employee, they can fire you without call. Ugh.
But that also means you can quit without call. At-will employment.
True, but you can't collect any unemployment if you quit.
Yeah.
So, or severance, you can't, a lot of things you can't get if you quit. Or fired or quit. But anyway, that's about all I got.
Same. That's about it.
And then, thank you guys for coming into the Zoom thing.
That was fucking cool.
And we will see you for the normal show on Wednesday.
Yes. See you then.
Oh, coronavirus. Oh, I has it.